Hi everyone, welcome to the weekly intuitive reading for the collective. Hello, hello. This is for October 2nd through October 8th. Sorry it's late, guys. So sorry. Thank you for your patience and understanding. I really appreciate it. All right, let's get right into it. You guys know I love that. You know, my speech is super quick. Please like this video. Please subscribe to this channel. Please share this content if you think somebody can benefit from it. I'm using the same 4 decks, all shuffled, ready to go. Pretty sure there's a different order there, but let's just see. All right, guys, I'm praying for a good, positive week. I'm already feeling pretty good energy, but let's start rolling and pulling the cards. All right, guys. A leg up under need. All right, so this feels, as you guys know, you've seen this card before, a leg up is always advantageous energy, something that we have an advantage towards. So it's almost like I'm getting this feeling of something's kind of going on this week where we kind of have a slim to no chance of, like, we really need a lot of luck. I don't love using the word luck, but I think you guys know what I mean. It's almost like the odds are not in your favor. That's like a good way to say it. And we need more advantageous energy. So there's not too much to say here. It's just if something like that is happening for one of you guys out there, or again, this is a collective reading, so probably the majority, is have faith. Have faith that you know, like you still have skin in the game is a good way to kind of put it. That's what Spirit is trying to say. It's almost saying, like, don't give up. You may need more of an advantage, but you can work on that and just don't give up and have faith. That's what Spirit is saying. So that could really pertain to anything. I don't know why this is coming to my head, but you guys know I'm not super great at examples and metaphors. But if you're running a race this week and maybe you hurt yourself over the weekend, and it's not looking great, but it's kind of like, by the way, I'm obviously not a doctor. Use your own intuition. If you feel like you need to sit out the race, sit out the race if this is you. Again, this is a hypothetical example, but it's saying, like, you know, don't give up quite yet. You know, you may surprise yourself, like that kind of thing. So you do need a little bit more of an advantage, and anything that you can do to maybe ice your leg, you know, do whatever that you can to really try to get more of that advantageous energy. But I really do hear, you know, not giving up. So, but again, use your own intuition, your own logic, that kind of thing. Okay. But that's kind of what we need. It's almost like you're like praying for a miracle this week or something like that. Action needed, storyteller. Let me read it. Ability to experience and express life through stories and symbols. I love this. Okay, so taking action. We need to be talking more. We need to be telling our story more. And I really feel like this is associated with opening up more to other people, especially strangers. I'm kind of getting that feeling, like people that we just meet. So this might turn out to be a little bit more of a social week for us. We'll see as we pull the cards more. But it definitely does feel like we need to just be telling our stories more. And this could just be also, too, because other people can resonate with us, or obviously being open creates more vulnerability, creates more authenticity, which in turn creates deeper, more bonded connections. So it's definitely, you know, Spirit is encouraging us that there's some positive outcomes to sharing our story this week. So if you're usually mute, or, you know, not sure if you should, or, you know, I don't know if I'm oversharing, or I should, you know, if this is the right time, I'm definitely feeling like this is, you know, it's, and shall I say, advantageous time for that. Okay, we have issue. So we have Spirit Fox, trust your talents in changing times. Okay, so did we get this last week in this slot? We might have gotten it in the surprise. So if it was in the surprise, that's interesting, because it seems like we're not, I can't, guys, let me know down below in the comments if it was. I can't even remember. When I do these readings, I don't do them from memory, obviously. So as I'm reading, they kind of come in, come out, and then I forget. So if anybody's ever had a private reading with me, they know. Everybody has to catch me up, basically. So this is about having issues being adaptable, having issues flying by the seat of your pants, having issues being flexible and being quick about it, right? And so that doesn't mean, first of all, it's okay if that's true, because this really, I know we have a change slot here, but usually this is like when things change quickly. So a lot of us feel, at least I've found, like some of us just feel very down with sudden change. And for me, it's sometimes extremely traumatic because things just happen in a split second, and that's life, and it just happens, right? So we need to be really loving to ourselves and compassionate to ourselves when these things happen, and maybe we are having a harder time. So really, this is kind of coming through where Spirit's saying it's okay. It's okay that this is an issue. It may have came as a surprise, like I said last week, or it might have been in the monthly too. So there might be that might be a theme for us for the month. But it's okay. Do the best that you can, and that's all that you can really do. So if you feel like you're not doing enough, or you're not moving quickly enough, especially when there's things that are suddenly changing, you need to be easier on yourself, okay? So let's see what's in the surprise slot this week. So you have health and healing. Okay, yay! This is exciting for me. So definitely a surprise in your health and healing, like almost I can say like a bump, like feeling good this week health-wise. This could obviously be physical. This could be emotional, spiritual, mental, all of the things. So definitely I don't want to say a spontaneous healing and then all of a sudden we're well, but it definitely puts us up a level. It feels like it's definitely a bump in our health and healing journey, whatever that might be. So yay. Like I said, I love that one. Okay, challenge. We have to the C. Okay, so this is challenges with alignment this week. So this is about feeling like we can't necessarily get into flow and everything really kind of feels forceful. Makes sense to me. Sometimes, so I get this a lot and it's hard to explain, and I think in the future as I continue to heal, I'll start making videos on things like this. But people say to me, how do I know when something is an obstacle versus something that is super forceful, right? And it is hard to tell, because alignment doesn't just mean that you have no obstacles. There will be obstacles. But this feels more so like we're not even really on, we're a little bit more on the force side of things, where we're on the misalignment side of things. So, because I feel like this is a little bit, this first one here could feel like we're not necessarily in alignment, but it really could be obstacles kind of just getting in our way. Using that example of our leg, something happened to our leg, we can't necessarily run the race. That just feels like an obstacle and not necessarily something that you're forcing. But the forcing thing could pertain to other things kind of happening. So if you're feeling like you're misaligned this week, I almost feel like, so I believe everything is a choice, but sometimes in life there are decisions that we have to make that we don't really love, and I feel like that might be pertaining to that, okay? So there might be some things that we're going through this week that you feel like you kind of, by making them, you're making a detour, or, gosh, sorry guys, my memory is terrible. I don't remember which reading this was, but there was definitely something, and it came out in the overall outcome, I remember, where we had to kind of take us, we dipped into the past a little bit, but we're still moving forward, okay? So it's like a dance, okay? So you take a couple steps backwards, you take a couple steps forward kind of deal, but it wasn't like a big deal, okay? So, and this doesn't feel like a big deal. I usually tell you guys if the issue or the challenge, and by the way, so far, none of them feel like they're like a huge deal. This is just really about you need to be easier on yourself, basically, if you can't necessarily be as quick as the fox. But it doesn't feel huge or anything. So if you have to make a decision that feels in misalignment for whatever reason, it's okay, but it's going to be challenging, and I feel like it's going to make us feel a certain type of way, and it's maybe going to feel like we're going in a direction that we don't want to be going. But Spirit is bringing it up for a reason, because the fact that you have awareness around it is important, that you know that it's not necessarily what you want to be doing or that it's aligned for you, but it's just something you have to, I can't think of an example right off the top of my head, but it's something that you have to do for now, but you'll be aligned, you know what alignment actually looks like. And that's important, okay? The self-awareness piece is what is important. But the challenge is that you kind of have to go in a different direction, kind of go to the more forceful direction for whatever reason. But you will hopefully get more into alignment, and we'll pull the rest of the cards and see what happens in the maybe sometime in the week, or I'm sure the rest of the month will be a little bit better. Okay, focus, mediator. Okay, so gift for negotiating fairness and strategy in personal and professional life, respect for both sides of an argument. Okay, so focusing on the middle. Okay, we've gotten this card before. Focusing on both sides, seeing both sides of things. So focusing on that this week will definitely give you, will bring success, I will say, is how I feel about it. So definitely focus on seeing both sides of an argument, whether you are the actual mediator in a relationship with two other people, maybe, your sisters are fighting or whatever it actually is, and you're actually the mediator, or it's in your own life and you have to make a decision and you really have to weigh both sides, okay? Either way, be the mediator. Okay, what do we reflect on? Lord, take charge with authority. Okay, so reflecting on how you lead and how you take charge. This is a very masculine card, so maybe it's more broad, where we need to look at what our relationship is to our masculinity, our masculine energy. And again, guys, I know everyone's probably like, oh my God, I'm so annoyed by her saying this all the time, but these are energies we're talking about. So if it's more comfortable me saying yang energy for masculine, we all have each, okay? We all have both. So this is really that reflection on that part of ourselves, on that yang energy. But really more so with leadership and how we lead, and how we take authority. So this is really about kind of challenging where our own power kind of comes from, where we're feeling powerless. That's a good journal prompt there. Where do we feel more, where do we need in our life more power? What makes us feel empowered, things like that. So that's something to reflect on for sure. Responsibilities, nurture yourself. Oh, I love that. Take care of yourself. And I love that it's under the issue here, because this really does come with this underlying, you guys know I'm deep into clairsentience. I have clairsentience. So sometimes these cards come with feelings behind them, right? And so this one definitely comes with having self-compassion. And look what we have here, nurture yourself. So be kind to yourself, please, please, please. That is your responsibility for the week. Pretty straightforward on that one. Money, finances, and career. You guys know I lumped them all together. We have co-create. Oh my gosh, we've had this before in the same slot. So this is still supportive energy of co-creating. So partnerships are still good. They're great, honestly. So I think I used my example of, when you're in school and you have to do a collaborative project with somebody and you're always the one just pulling your own weight, and the other people don't. It was the worst. I'm just remembering my own experiences, but and it turns out, like I said, you're the one pulling the most weight, or it's uneven in that way, and it just completely sucked for you, because everybody gets the same grade and you did the most work, right? It does not feel like that. Okay, this is really positive, because this is saying no, partnerships are actually good. Okay, we would tell you otherwise, but if any way you can partner with somebody, career, money, finances this week in any which way, go for it. It's a positive experience. Okay, what's changing? What's changing? Scribe. Okay, preserving knowledge and information. Okay, so this is, we've gotten this one before, and we've gotten this. This is so weird. I think I'm going to put this in the title, actually, because I didn't end up putting it in the title last time, but it's coming up again, so this means it's important. How we record information is so important, and it's going to change. So this could be, I think I gave the example of something as tangible as people starting a scrapbook instead of relying on, digital means of all their photos or something. Because that's just a different, it's the example that comes to mind, because it's just like a different way of recording things. So there's just a different medium, there's a different avenue, there's a different platform or something like that. We're changing the way that we communicate in some way, shape, or form, or how we record memories, or how we remember things. Like there's something along those lines where the communication actually changes. I mean, this could be too where some of you guys might, own your own business and are changing social media platforms. Like this could count. So the fact that it's coming up again, like I said, makes me feel like it's super important and we need to pay attention, but also too that we're not doing it. Okay. So this almost feels like a nudge that it's organically going to happen. That we're feeling maybe called to a different social media platform or something like that, or we're being called to scrapbooking or whatever. But I definitely do feel like the Spirit wants us to pay attention, and it's super, super important that we do, okay? All right, let's look at our, now we're in the corner of our relationships here. High Priestess, Harness Mystic Power. This is a power card, so very interesting what I said about the Lord card there. So under Friends, High Priestess, Harness Mystic Power. Okay, so that's masculine power. This one is feminine power, basically. So feminine energy power. So this is where you can harness that in your relationships. So I would say to nurture, obviously yourself, but when it comes to your friend groups this week, I would pay attention to more feminine type energy that needs looking after. And again, guys, here she is with her broken record. Everybody has both energies. So an example that I'm going to use, if you have a actual, somebody that identifies as a male in your life that maybe needs more of a soft touch this week and usually doesn't, this is where Spirit is saying that the feminine energy will come in handy, okay? Is a little bit more of that feminine touch within your friendships is really kind of needed here. That's the best way I can kind of explain it, and I think you guys understand. Romantic connection, it says go now. Okay, not great. So far, I didn't check in with you guys, but I think you get the point. I don't see anything crazy, okay? The issue and the challenges weren't horrible. They weren't like extremely intense, chaotic, or dark type energies. Some of the words I use where it feels a little bit more negative. So that was good up there. This I'm not feeling great about. I do, since we've got like this corner of power, I'm now calling it, I guess, is that it, and look what we have here, guys. The one above, the one to the left. So I think a lot of us, it doesn't necessarily mean the actual physical relationship will end. It doesn't necessarily mean that, but there's an end to, there could be an end to a power struggle, which could be a positive thing, but it just feels like it's coming with a little bit of heaviness that I didn't get from the rest of the cards. So I'm definitely feeling like there might be some type of ending in some type of way. Doesn't actually translate to breakups. Could just be you're done with your partner talking to you like this. You're done putting people on pedestals. There's something that you need to leave behind in the relationship in some kind of way. Could be the relationship, but again, could be something within the romantic partnership that kind of comes to a boil, comes to an end. And you know that you need to leave. And again, this actually doesn't necessarily translate physically, and I mean that by you might just energetically be thinking about it, okay? So you might this week be like, why are the power dynamics, right? Because you are reflecting, okay, on how you take charge, how you lead, okay? And so there might be some power dynamics shifting within the romantic connection, okay? So I find that very interesting that they're all kind of together, the 3 power cards. So yeah, however that manifests for you, super curious. Remember, guys, comments below. I don't know if I said that in the beginning, but any comments, feedback, anything at all, I love to hear it, love to read it, okay? Important. Never-ending story. Okay, so this is about patterns. This is about continuously talking about the same thing, doing the same thing over and over again. And the fact that it's under important, it almost feels like it's not, like, it's not saying, like, it's almost talking more about repetition than it is talking about like patterns, because sometimes when we hear patterns, everything has a light and a shadow, right, guys? This is why I actually use the archetype deck, because I love that some of them come in, because I read them up. They're the one card deck that I do read upside down and right side up. And it's because they're supposed to be read like that. They're designed that way because there is a light and a shadow for each. And it's the same thing with patterns, right? And so basically, it's almost like Spirit is trying to tell me positive, sorry, can't speak, positive patterns. So basically, to me, that feels like something obviously positive, like it's good in repetition. So this could be, yeah, it could translate to like, it's important you keep your positive habits, like it could translate to habits, but it's more so about, how do I say this? Continuing to do the same thing over and over again, continuing to repeat something. So, yeah, it could be habit for sure. If you're trying to, I just don't know if that's the right word exactly, but I think you guys understand what I'm saying. But anything that requires repetition this week, which is so funny because it's kind of like very contrasting energy right next to the romantic connection, because this is like about ending things and this is like don't give up, right? So it's very, very interesting energies next to each other. But yeah, so this is kind of just about like continuing on to something, not giving up, continuing going forward, like that kind of thing, and making sure you're doing it in a cycle on repeat, like that kind of thing. Okay, I think that makes sense for you guys. All right, health and wellness. We already have a wonderful surprise up there. Destroyer. Okay, releasing what is potentially destructive, preparing for new life. Yes! Oh my God, you guys. This is so positive for me. I hope it's positive for you guys, because it says we're destroying what is destroying our health. Basically, it's just what's destroying our happiness, our joy, our wellness. Okay, so I love it. It's so this picture is just, it's just like exploding, and it's like very I don't want to say very final, but like it's pretty obvious. It's like, no, you know, you're destroying something. Okay, so whether that's a virus, whether, I don't know, somebody's been sick out there for a few weeks and this week finally, you know, you're gonna feel better, or again, it could be, you know, emotional or mental or spiritual even. Maybe some of you guys are coming out of a dark night of the soul, you know, that kind of thing. So that's exciting. I'm actually really, really happy about that. An overall outcome, we have Broken Arrow, embrace the energy of peace. Okay, so love that we're ending it on peace, because like I said, I do feel that this is an overall positive week. The only thing I would say is this romantic connection with the go now, but again, it could be positive, because anytime we try to take our power back, or we realize something's not for us, it is a positive if you think about it, guys. It just might be a little painful, if I'm being honest. But again, it doesn't necessarily mean anything super negative. So, but if I had to pick anything from the spread, it would be here. But overall, it's peace, right? Because that's the other thing too. Sometimes, I know for me, when I feel disempowered, I don't feel peaceful. I mean, that's for sure. So this is a positive thing to me. So kind of moving around those power dynamics and feeling a little bit more, you know, in control, or, God, how many times can I say power? But empowered is always a positive thing. And so it definitely 100% equals more peace for sure. So who doesn't need more peace, guys? What a wonderful way to end this. Okay, guys, wonderful week, like I said. I'm just so interesting, the scribe card here. So, all right, so pay attention to that for sure. But I definitely, like I said, feel like it might organically happen as well. So, all right, guys, have a wonderful week. Thank you for your patience for it being late, and I'll see you next week. Bye.